Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So a couple days ago Samsung announced the Galaxy A50s and the A30s. So in this video I will compare the Galaxy A30s with the standard Galaxy A30. As for the price, the A30 is selling right now for about $200, while for the A30s the pricing is not known yet. So starting off with the construction, on the A30s it's gonna be the same as the A30, which is plastic frame and curved plastic back, while this time on the A30s the back is gonna have 3D patterns, so they will change according to the light they will be in. The display will be 6.4 inches diagonally on both phones, so they're gonna be exactly the same in terms of their overall size as well. The bottom bezel, which is the chin, is slightly thinner on the A30s, but the difference is so small to the point it might not even be noticeable to some people. And the notch is kind of like a V-shaped notch this time compared to a U-shaped notch on the A30. The fingerprint scanner is on the back on the A30, while this time it's under the display just like the A50 and the A50s. While the A50 had speed issues with the scanner, so for the A30s we will have to wait for the release of the phone to see if it also has the same issue or not, while both phones will have the face unlock feature. For connectivity, we will have USB Type-C port on both phones with headphone jack on the bottom side. Single speaker will also be on the bottom side, and at last no resistance against water on both phones. As for the display, it's gonna be Super AMOLED on both phones, while on the A30s the resolution has came down to 720p HD from 1080p Full HD on the A30, and so the difference in screen sharpness is gonna be huge. The A30 does support always on display, while for the A30s, again, chances of it having it are low because of the lower quality screen. And as for the protection of these screens, the A30 has Gorilla Glass 3, while for the S model it has not been specified yet. Coming to the performance aspects, so Exynos 7904 on both phones, so same everyday performance, while the A30s will have a slight advantage in terms of the gaming because of that lower resolution screen. One thing about the A30s is that its chipset can also be the Exynos 7885 instead of the Exynos 7904, and that's because Samsung doesn't specify the names of the chipset, they only tell the CPUs and their clock speed. So if the phone did came with the Exynos 7885, there's gonna be no difference in terms of the performance. The RAM variants will be 3 or 4 GB on both phones with 32 or 64 GB of storage, while the A30s will also have a 128 GB variant, but both phones supports micro SD cards, so you can always increase the storage, and the OS will be Android 9 on both phones. So reduction in terms of the display, while there is an upgrade in terms of the camera, so it's 25 megapixels this time compared to 16 megapixels on the standard A30. So more detailed pictures from the A30s if you're gonna shoot in full resolution, while dynamic range was pretty good on the A30, so I expect the same from the A30s. But the A30s really needs to be good in terms of the low light because the standard A30 in low light was straight up bad. So the A30s at least needs to be better than the standard A30, and that's because the A30 doesn't have the Samsung's long exposure night mode, while the A50, which has the same sensor as the A30s, have it. So the A30s will also have the night mode, which brightens the night shots so much. The wide angle sensor was 5 megapixels on the A30, while this time it's gonna be 8, and for portraits the A30 only relied on software, it did not use its secondary sensor, while on the A30s there is a depth sensor now to help in portraits. The chances of the A30s having 4K recording option are very low, and Samsung doesn't specify the video capture settings also, so 1080p at 30 fps on both phones. And as for the slow motion, the standard A30 got it via an software update, so 4 times slower videos on it, and the A30s should also have the same. As for the front camera, it's gonna be 16 megapixels on both phones, so no upgrade here. So just keep the distance right from your face because it's fixed focus camera, and have a good amount of light for sharp and great selfies. At last, the battery capacity is also the same on both phones, so both have the same CPUs, while the low resolution screen will help the A30s in getting slightly more screen on time. And as for charging, both phones will come with a 15 watts charger, so the A30 takes 1 hour and about 40 minutes to fully recharge, so the A30s will also take the same amount of time. So this is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about both handsets, and if you found this video interesting, then be sure to like it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.